Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a how to make this mouth-watering lobster roll. This is definitely going to up your recipe game. So first things first, we are going to be taking a lobster. I've already cleaned them, so all I did was just run them through water, just like room temperature water. And I am going with a pair of sharp kitchen shears, and I am just going to run them down the middle of the lobster tail. And all you want to do is just make sure you don't go all the way to the tail, because it's going to be harder for you to open it. So I'm just running my shears down the middle of the lobster tail. And you want to make sure that you're really careful with this part, because this can cut you. So you want to just kind of pull your finger in between the meat as well as the lobster tail and kind of pull that apart. And then I'm going to try and separate it. So you don't want to crack it all the way. I'm just going to crack it halfway. And then you're going to see me pull the meat from the back. And I'm going to just sit that on top of the shell. As you can see, it just sits right there on top. And I am going to go ahead and wash them before we season it. So you just run them through some water again. So now that we have them all clean, we are going to go ahead with some melted butter. Now I wish I had like a spatula, or I'm not sure, like a brush to brush on the butter. I didn't have one, so I just had to improvise. So you're gonna see me in the next clip. I'm just gonna start pouring that melted butter on top. And you want to make sure that your butter is salted, because we're not gonna add a lot of salt in this recipe. But when I tell y'all, this is so good. So here you're going to see me just adding parsley. Parsley, dry parsley at least, doesn't really have a flavor. It's mainly for color. Next, I am going in with some paprika as well. Paprika does not have a flavor either. Smoked paprika does, however the regular paprika doesn't. Next, I am going in with some kosher salt. This is the coarse kind. And we are going to also follow that with some black pepper. When I tell y'all, this recipe is definitely going to up your bae recipe game. Your friends and family, or your little boo thing, they're going to be like, oh, this is good. Like, where did you find this? And make sure you tell them that you got this off my channel. Make sure y'all tune in for the next videos, because I'm going to be doing a Valentine's series. So now we are going to go in with our secret ingredient. This is the Weber's New Orleans Cajun seasoning. So I am going in with that. And you don't want to make sure that you don't be stingy with the seasoning. You want to really season this meat. So now we are going in with the Golden Potato Pepperidge Farm top sliced buns. These are hot dog buns. I prefer to use these type of buns because of the presentation, and just because these buns have a really good taste because they're a potato roll. So now we are going in with some more melted butter, because you know melted butter makes everything delicious. And here I am again with this spatula. I don't know why I'm using this thing. It didn't work the first time, Kimberly. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and pour that melted butter on both sides, because guess what we're going to do next? You guessed it, we're going to go ahead and toast those buns. So I'm just going to go ahead and evenly distribute the melted butter on both sides of the roll. Doesn't that look so good and buttery? Oh my God, when it's toasted, y'all, it's gonna be so good. So now we're just going to have our skillet on medium heat, and we're going to place all of our rolls on this pan and just let them sit while we go ahead and get those lobster rolls out. I'm extra. You don't have to do this. I just wanted to make sure that all of them were on the same side. So now we are going in with the flip, and just look at that golden brown color. I don't know how long I kept them on each side, but you just want to watch them. I probably left them on there for at least a minute or two on each side. Now our lobster is done, and just get into it, honey. Yes, get into that. That meat looks so good. You can leave it like this if you don't want to do the lobster roll. And there is like a little Valentine's Day preview. But you can definitely go ahead and take that meat off of that shell, and we're just going to chop those up. You want to make sure that you have at least about that size. I don't like to have like super small pieces. I want to make sure that each bite is going to be like a large chunk of meat. So don't be stingy when you're cutting this up. We don't want to have no little baby pieces. So just about that size is good. And just look at that flavor. Get into it. Yes. So again, we're just chopping this meat up. You don't want to try and chop it too much because lobster is very delicate. So it does break apart really easy. I know y'all see that flavor. I had to zoom in for you. So now that we have that all done, let's go ahead and get into our sauce. So we have 1 stalk of celery, and I am going again with that parsley, again just for color. I'm also going in with some black pepper. We're not going to add any more salt to this dish because it already has a lot of seasoning in that lobster. So now we're going to go ahead and add our lobster into the bowl. And then we are going to incorporate that in together along with some mayo. You want to use just some olive oil based mayo or anything that has a little bit of vinegar in it. Most mayos do have vinegar in it, so that shouldn't be too hard to find. You don't also want to squeeze a whole lot of mayonnaise in this dish because you still want to taste that lobster. And be sure that you don't separate the lobster too much because again, the lobster is very delicate. So here I'm going in back with some more mayo. Again, just do a little at a time because you can always add, but you can't take away when you're incorporating things like this. So that is it, y'all. So the only thing I'm going to do now is going to put this lobster on top of those toasted buns, and then you can serve this with some french fries. You can serve it with chips, and that's your completed meal. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what you guys want to see more of. Stay tuned for my Valentine's series, and again, thanks so much for watching. Love you guys. Bye.